You're watching ABC.
The season is here and footballs will be in the air. And you too can score big at Bill Wells Chevrolet Buick in Quincy. Like this 97 Chevrolet Z71 extended cab pickup, 4x4, all the options, leather interior, third door, 350 V8 automatic, everything you need, low mileage, one owner, under warranty and ready to go hunting. Your price at Bill Wells, $23,900. So let's all huddle up at Bill Wells Chevrolet Buick in Quincy. A little out of the way, but a lot less to pay.
R.J. Sauer to the 10, touchdown USC! Touchdown USC! Touchdown USC!
I think it is infectious, the excitement that surrounds R.J. Sauer.
Nobody could have done it but Peter Warren. It'll be a touchdown!
Well, he's got ability. You know, he's got exceptional ability. Run and stop on a dime and change directions, and got great speed.
24 hours ago, there was deep concern through the city of Tallahassee, Florida, that it might be trashed by the tentacles of Hurricane George this afternoon. But as you can see, not so. The violent storm is now headed out into the Gulf of Mexico, regaining energy from the warm waters of the Gulf and apparently headed for the regions to the west. And apparently will not impact the Florida Panhandle at all today, leaving the weather warm, hot is a better word, and muggy, but it's dry. For today's college football game matching the University of Southern California Trojans and the Florida State Seminoles. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and welcome to Florida's capital city. Even though we have dodged the bullet of the storm, the Hurricane George, we have had it as a distraction. First off, there was a cancellation of the UCLA-Miami game in Miami, and some worry and dread spread through the ranks of the University of Southern California. And when the coaches and the teams got up this morning and there was no wind and rain, just bright sunshine, you could hear the collective sigh of relief all the way to LA. This is a football game that's very important because it fits into that area of strength of schedule factor when it comes to determining the teams ultimately down the road. Now then, let us go to Bob Greasy and talk about the matchup of these two teams, because these are two teams that can move the football.
Well, they're good, Coach, and their coaches are good, Coach. I like Bobby Bowden. You know, he's never lost a game this early in the season in the last, maybe in the last 10 years. So he talked to his team and he says, hey, you weren't ranked number 2 in the nation because of anything that you did. It's the reputation of Florida State and the players that have gone before you. So he says now is an opportunity to go out and get some of that luster, some of that presence back by winning in a national game against a team with national exposure. USC has a lot of history. So let's go out and win it and try to get some of that back. USC, on the other hand, is an outstanding coach in Paul Hackett. He's restored the tradition. He's restored some of the fire and the excitement and the enthusiasm that they had at USC. But they're 3-0, and the question, Keith, is this a Cinderella team for 98, or is it just another pretender?
All right, let's go to the field and hear from an old Trojan. Lynn Swan, Swanee, they tell me it's 94 degrees with a heat index of about 102 or 3.
Keith, it's every bit of that and more, and they're about to throw the spear into the center, and the band is playing behind me. It's a big game, and it's designed for playmakers. Now, we've been talking about playmakers all during the week, and every time you hear about one, it's usually, what, Sosa or Mark McGuire. But for the next 3.5 hours, it's going to be 2 wide receivers, R.J. Sauer for USC and Peter Warwick for Florida State. They are playmakers. Now, what is a playmaker? Well, if you describe one of these young men, you describe both of them. They're athletic. They have great skills. They take the normal play and turn it into a big play. A 5-yard catch can become a 95-yard touchdown play for them. And they don't combine that skill and ability just to being a wide receiver. Both are very dangerous and exciting return men. A kickoff or a punt return can break this game wide open. Between the two of them, there's enough electricity that can light up all of Tallahassee, Keith. This game will be about big plays and the playmakers, Keith.
All right, Swanee, Mark Carlson, who worked here many years as the sports information director and is very familiar with all things about Florida State, told me this morning that he felt USC was the biggest name other than Florida and Miami ever to come here to Doak Campbell Stadium and play. LSU came here one time, but Florida State went over there 7 times. So that gives you an idea how Bobby Bowden went on the road to build the program here at Florida State. And as a result of that, as time goes on, you're seeing bigger and bigger names show up. Right now, all eyes in this stadium surely are on number 16, Bob.
There's no question that Chris Winkie, 2 weeks ago against NC State, he completed only 28% of his passes and threw 6 interceptions. Last week, the recipe a little bit differently. They went back to running the football a little bit more, taking the pressure off of the quarterback. At Florida State, it's always been a type of offense that if you're the quarterback, you've got to be the guy that distributes the ball to the other receivers to make the big plays.
It is the 20th anniversary of Chief Osceola and the Appaloosa Renegade thundering down the center of Doak Campbell Stadium. The spear has been planted, the challenge issued, and the game is about to begin. As we indicated to you, it is a very warm day. The wind is gusting. There are times when it's up in the middle 20s, but for the main part, you count your blessings when you get them. And this region of Florida was blessed in that George decided not to come calling.
We could be under a lot of rain.
Oh, my goodness.
And a lot of wind right now.
And we worry about the future for southern Mississippi and across into Louisiana and New Orleans in that region. Paul Hackett. He's been around. He's been a lot of places. And I told him yesterday when we sat down to have a little visit that I remembered his appearance at the press conference when he became the head coach at Pitt. And his appearance at the press conference when he became the head coach for the University of Southern California was so different. He's matured now. He's ready to be a head coach. Bobby Bowden has been here for 23 seasons. You know all about this man. I mean, he's a walking, talking, living legend, and he should be.
And they've gone 35 games without a loss in the stadium going back to 1991. Tough to beat at home.
So the Southern California Trojans wearing the white shirts will be kicking to these fellows in the garnet and gold. And the deep men for the Seminoles are D. Feaster, 33, and Lavertius Coles, number 7. And the man who will kick it off for USC is David Bell. It's grass. Real goodness grass here and a very good turf. So we're ready to go. The Southern California Trojans traveling to Tallahassee to test themselves in the lair of the mighty Seminoles. The game is on. It is into the end zone. It will come out to the 20-yard line. And now here is the chilly starting lineup for the Florida State Seminoles. Along the front, the biggest offensive front ever for the Seminoles, and it's getting better every week. There are no seniors up there. Wide receivers, very definitely a strength as long as Peter Warwick is on the field. And in the backfield, the wait for Chris Winkie, as Bob Greasy just noted, to settle in at quarterback is the big factor. Travis Minor has been solid. And we're ready for the first play. The sun is out and bright. It's a very hot day. Warwick is in motion. Reverse coming this way with Lavernius Coles. And Coles is hemmed in by 3 Trojans, and they'll take him down after he picks up nothing. They got him right at the 20. The Southern California defensive front, led by number 95, Mark Mattock, had a big game last week against Oregon State. Pretty good group here. The linebackers, number 55, Chris Claiborne, good as any. And the number 22, David Gibson, moved from safety into a strong player position, has proven himself to be quite an athlete at that linebacking court. And he's added speed to that group. He's been very, very tough. The defensive front for Southern California, number 55, the middle linebacker, Claiborne, got the penetration and messed up the play, and they stop him a yard short of the line of scrimmage. The Southern California defensive secondary, led by number 1, Dalen McCutcheon, who figures to keep Peter Warwick in his sights all day if he can. They have 6 very good athletes to play in that Southern California secondary.
It's the strength of the defense, Keith. These defensive backs are veterans, and as Paul Hackett says, they are fired up. They're ready to play this ball game.
It is 3rd down and 11. Out of the shotgun, the Seminoles. They still play that fast break offense. Wenke sets it up, throws the ball intended for Travis Minor. They were setting up a screen to that side. He had 3 people in front of him. The ball was not particularly well thrown. Ennis Davis was also in the area and blocking perhaps the vision of the quarterback Wenke. So Keith Cottrell comes into the ball game. Big fellow, 6'4", 205 from Orlando, a sophomore. He is averaging just over 40 yards per punt. Chad Morton is deep to Southern California. It's a low line drive. Morton's got some room if it bounces straight, and it didn't. It bounced off of a Trojan, and the Seminoles recover it. The ball bounced off one of the Trojans back there trying to set up a block for Morton. Didn't know where the ball was. Chris Hope didn't get out of the way, and rather it was Richards. Chris Richard didn't get out of the way.
Such a poor punt, Keith, that it hit one of the USC players, as you mentioned, and Florida State gets a break out of such a poor snap and a poor punt.
And it was Chris Hope that jumped on the ball for the Seminoles. Here's the play.
Right there, it hits one of the Seminoles. That's just an unfortunate break for USC and a very fortunate break for the Seminoles on a poor kick.
So they get the ball first down at the 42-yard line on Chris Hope's recovery. And Wenke now trying to strike quickly, goes deep, and he's got a man open and doesn't get the ball to him. One of the reasons he didn't get the ball to Coles is there were 2 Trojans coming right down the highway and trying to take his head off. But Coles had broken completely free from McCutcheon.
Well, Keith, you're right. Watch Matak right here. He's just going to get in there and put pressure on the quarterback. Number 95, the right tackle defensively. And if he's got time to stay in the pocket, this is a touchdown. A defensive tackle saves a touchdown for USC.
And it's 2nd down and 10 from the 42. Run it inside, penalty flag down, and the play stops, so it must have happened just before the snap of the ball. The referee is James Knight. He became something of a cause celeb last year when he
foul, offense, false start, 5 yards, no play.
When he collapsed on the field with a heart attack, but has come back now in good health to continue as a referee. The umpire is W. Clark Gaston. Head linesman is Sam Stevenson. The field judge is Daniel Hogue. Line judge Richard Page. Side judge Frank Overcash. Back judge Jim Howie. They're from the ACC. We'll back them up 5 to the 47, where it is 2nd down and 15. No score, just getting underway. Trojans having the ball bounce off one of their people on a punt return. The Seminoles recovering it, getting a break. But the Southern California defensive unit is asserting itself early on here. They're swarming, and there's a loss back to the 49-yard line. So they lose 2 more.
This defensive group, very aggressive. Bill Young, the defensive coordinator, from behind the offense. A little blitz. Moreno on the outside. Claiborne's going to be right there. And Gibson, 22. It's a very aggressive veteran defense. You talk about a strength of this USC team, Keith. It's their defense and their wide receivers.
It is 3rd down and 17. SC's in the neutral zone. I don't see a flag. Now you get it. They're going to call him offside. It'll be a 5-yard penalty, I think, against the Trojans unless somebody moved on the play. Travis Minor carried it. Chris Claiborne made the tackle. I think the defensive end to the top of the picture was the man caught in the neutral zone. Yep, there he is. This is the first big game the Trojans have played on the road this season. And in the words of Paul Hackett, it's going to tell him something.
He said we won all 3 of our home games, the first 3. In fact, they have 5 of 6 of their first games at home. We won the first 3 at home. It's time to go on the road against a quality opponent where people don't like you and they're hollering at you. See how we do.
3rd down and 12. Wakey lets it go down the sidelines, and it is out of bounds. He's caught out of bounds. Ron Dugans, who's a great leaper, number 80, was up for the ball all right, and went right up over the top of the defender, McCutcheon, but he was out of bounds.
Well, you're going to have good matchups all day long with the wide receivers, Dugans, going against McCutcheon. McCutcheon, one of your best defensive backs in the country. You get that foot down?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I think he was juggling the ball when he came down afterwards anyway.
So it's Cottrell in to punt again. Now let's see if he can do the same thing he did last time. He hit one so bad it turned out to be a great break for them, but they don't cash it in. This is not very good either. And a fair catch is called by Chad Morton back at the 13-yard line. Now Chile starting lineup for the Southern California Trojans will go like this. Trouble at center. There's a left-handed guard starting his 2nd game snapping the ball, Jason Grain. 2 centers are injured. 1 is expected back next week. The wide receivers are a definite strength for the Trojans. Soward, Parker, Miller, great weapons there. The back, sophomore and freshman at quarterback. Tailback Chad Morton was a defensive back in the game against the Seminoles at the Coliseum a year ago. So he's now the tailback. The ball is fumbled, picked up by Florida State and run in for a touchdown by Demetros Stevens. And there's a penalty flag on the field. So hold everything. Field judge threw the flag.
Dead ball. False start by the offense.
Oh, boy.
There is no play.
Oh, man, you talk about a mistake.
All the mistakes.
That's a dead ball.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have an option on that.
Well, that's right. And it means it's not a play. Left-handed center, which is this center, Grain, played all of the game last week.
Well, the ball comes back to the 8-yard line, and the Trojans swallow hard, but they've still got the ball. 1st down and 15. Deep in their own territory. This time Van Raphorst takes it, gives it to Morton, breaks out of there. Chad Morton can fly. And they finally get him out of bounds up at the 29-yard line. 1st down, Dexter Jackson saved the touchdown.
Well, this young man can run, Keith. As you mentioned, he was a defensive back in this game last year. And Mark Richt, the offensive coordinator for the Seminoles, said he was the guy that was all over E.G. Green. He said, we couldn't get open. This Chad Morton covered him like a book. Offense this year, running back, he is a threat to go all the way anytime he touches it.
Gained 21 yards on that carry. It's 1st down, Southern California at the 29-yard line. And they, boy, are they living in luck right now. R.J. Soward comes down to the near side. Van Raphorst back, wants to throw it, lets it go. The ball is in the air and intercepted. Penalty flag as Derek Gibson picks up the ricochet, and he's still running and finally goes out of bounds. But remember the flag back up there at the 43-yard line. Waiting for the decision on the penalty. Pass was picked off on the ricochet by Florida State.
I think it's going to be interference on FSU.
Defensive holding against an eligible receiver prior to the change of possession. 10 yards.
Right, that's twice now in this first possession of Southern California that they have dodged a bullet because Florida State has made a mistake. And then the Trojan mistake kept them from giving up the football and a touchdown. It was Mario Edwards that got called holding.
And he didn't call interference. He called holding. So we didn't see it in that replay where it happened, but it happened obviously before the ball was thrown.
So it'll be 1st down and 10. The ball is at the 39-yard line. Van Raphorst turns and gives the ball to Chad Morton, and he's swarmed as he cuts it back into the middle of the line. There's a gain on the play of about 2 yards. The Florida State defense along the front so far has been lacking the ferocity and consistency of the immediate pass groups. Defensive Larry Smith is still shelved. They miss him. In the linebacking core here, too, perhaps that wrecking ball impact has not appeared so far. So this group can run, and they will get after you. The corners are going to have their hands full today with these Southern California receivers. It's a very aggressive group, and sometimes you can get somebody behind them with speed. Van Rapphorst back, lets it go, and it is incomplete. Ball intended for Billy Miller, and here's another penalty flag.
You talk about a late flag. That one came in really late.
It came from the far side, and it's in the neighborhood where Mario Edwards is employed as the cornerback against Billy Miller. Miller is the bigger of the receivers at 6'4", 220 for USC. It's another holding call against Florida State. And for a moment, here's John Saunders.
An eligible receiver.
Well, Keith, it's time for the Burger King update. Washington against Nebraska. Bobby Newcomb hadn't played since the opening game of the season against Louisiana Tech. Didn't take him long to get things going today. 3 yards on this touchdown run. Nebraska strikes first and lead against 7-0. Keith.
So the Cornhuskers break out early with Newcomb back.
He makes a big difference in that offense, doesn't he?
Boy, I'll say so. So now we go to 2nd down and 10 with the ball moving. And here's another penalty flag. Boy, oh boy. They got the laundry hanging out today. Sun's bright and warm, makes it smell better, I guess. I don't know. Holding this time on Southern California.
Well, 3 plays and 3 straight penalties. There's Mickey Andrews, who
you saw that choke sign a while ago.
Yeah,
he wasn't talking to the official. He's calling a play.
You think so? I don't know. I don't know.
You could misinterpret it, I suppose. But I know that's one of his signals for a particular play.
Florida State, yeah, but not when he's screaming it. His face is that red. Oh, he's a good guy, Mickey Andrews.
This will be an 18-yard penalty against Southern California, so they'll be looking at 1st down and 28 in a very ragged start.
His defenses, Keith, have always been very aggressive and very much penalized from the aggressiveness, the grabbing and holding, but he's tough, and it's starting out that way here today. But they're good players.
You got a freshman from Stockton, Frank Strong, in there at tailback, and Van Rapphorst now runs out and lets it go deep. And it is intercepted by Dexter Jackson. The receiver had given up on the play and turned away from it, R.J. Soward, and Van Rapphorst had let it go deep. And Jackson just went down and made the catch.
Yeah. As a poor choice by Van Rapphorst, Keith. You just can't throw this ball down the field and hope your receiver's going to cut up. He's covered. He should never have thrown it.
Macarena? Yeah, would you play Smoking Broken Heart? Hey, man, my girl left me. Could you send out a tune?
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, I got my baby back real. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
At National, we always thought of ourselves as the top car rental company, and now we're glad to see that our customers agree.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
You see, according to a J.D. Power & Associates study, National's just been ranked the highest car rental company in customer satisfaction in a tie. Thanks. We couldn't have done it without you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is.
Let's go.
What's the #1 ranked minivan by car and driver? The rugged Montana from Pontiac. With not one, but 2 sliding doors. Something handy for whoever's passing through. Life is more exciting in Montana.
Now at the Pontiac 98 sell down, get 0.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back on any 98 Transporter Montana. Just one of the great values at your Pontiac dealer today.
Imagine your worst nightmare
We've got enough guns to start World War III.
is living next door.
They hate us so much that they want to kill us.
Neighbors from Hell tonight on ABC premieres Saturday.
Professor Andrews holding a short seminar there before we resume play here in the first quarter with no score in the ball game. It's been a very ragged start. Now Florida State will take the ball from the 16-yard line where they have it after the interception. Pitch the ball back to Travis Minor. They're trying to look for some running room. There's penalty flags on the field again. We might be here to supper or beyond.
That's the 4th flag of the ball game, and we've had 9 offensive plays.
Abdul-Malik and Hancock make the defensive play for Southern Cal.
Well, it's taken a long time to get it organized and get it moving. This is going to be a 5-hour ball game at this pace.
Now look at this. USC has been penalized 11 times per game. That's the worst in the Pac-10. And like I mentioned, Florida State has a history of being the most penalized team in the ACC.
Well, between the two, like I said, we're going to be here 5 hours.
Yeah, they're running true to form so far.
21-yard line. It's first down and 5 after the offsides on the Trojans. And Minor is deep. Chris Winkie trying to find his way as the quarterback of the Seminoles, and Travis Minor with that little sidestep of his. That's becoming his trademark. We'll move it out to around the 23, 24-yard line. Cusano making the tackle for USC.
Seminoles want to get a running game going, Keith, to take some pressure off of Chris Winkie. And that was the idea going into last week's game after the debacle up at NC State. And here again today, that's what we're trying to do. Take some pressure off Chris Winkie. Make him feel like he doesn't have to win the game by himself.
Inside they go to Glenn, the big fullback. He breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage and picks up the first down for the Seminoles. So that's a good tough run by Glenn out to the 33-yard line.
He's excited. Lamar doesn't get the ball very often. He's usually a blocker. But he said, hey, give me that ball some more. I could get some yards for you.
Tackle was made by Chris Claiborne, number 55.
Brannon and Whitaker and Thomas at offensive line. Carmichael and Thomas. Earlier in the week, they all had flu symptoms. In fact, all lost some weight and missed some practice.
Winkie wants to throw it, lets it go, has his man Warwick wide open, sidesteps to the defender, sidesteps another one. The 3 of them have missed him. And finally, he's pulled down from behind by Ken Haslip. So 3 Trojan defensive backs missed the tackle on Peter Warwick. It's first down at the 26-yard line for Florida State.
Well, this is the excitement that Lynn Swan was talking about before the ball game. This is the stuff he can do. A little out route, just going to go down, break to the outside. Now Haslip is one-on-one over there. He misses the first tackle badly, and then Ohalete misses the second tackle. He makes another miss. Big players on the outside.
Haslip finally got up and came back and got him. Here's another pass. That ball comes out. He was hit just as the ball arrived, and Dugans couldn't reel it in. So that's incomplete.
Well, Keith, when you talk about the big playmaker, one of the things that Peter did in his play is he kept looking for the opportunity to move forward and move the ball down the field. A lot of times the receiver will get a pass on the sideline. He'll step out of bounds. He'll just look for the place to kind of just get the easy yard. But Peter is constantly looking down the field for a move. And what happens when you get used to that is you find people coming down to give you the blocks you need, as happened on that last play, Keith.
So from the shotgun, second down and 10 at the 26 of USC. Hose goes in motion, give it a Minor, and Travis Minor runs through the arms of a would-be tackler, and Aaron Williams had penetrated and gotten into the Florida State backfield for the Trojans, but he couldn't bring his man down. So it's a gain of 6 down just inside the 20.
On the stop.
8:47 to go in the first quarter. There's no score in the ball game. We had one call back because of a penalty when Southern California fumbled the first snap. The Knowles picked it up, ran it in, but there was a dead ball foul. False start on Southern California, and they got the ball back before they finally gave it up.
That was Paul Hackett says that was the time he says, I'm glad we had a false start penalty on ourselves that negated a touchdown.
Wakey rolls out and looks to the sidelines and throws. Intercepted. He's out of bounds. Intercepted by McCutcheon, but it's out of bounds. You got to, in college football, come down with 1 foot inside. The pass was intended for Dugans. He had no chance to get it. And as it turns out, neither did McCutcheon.
Peter Warwick working against McCutcheon. This is a pretty good battle. McCutcheon lets him go and sees the ball coming. That's why he let him go on downfield. And a nice call by the official on that side because both feet were on the line.
So here is the big fella. Sebastian Janikowski, 6'2", 255-pound left-footed sophomore from Daytona Beach. And he's going for a field goal try of 37 yards. And he got it. And the Seminoles get on the board first at 8:09 to go first quarter to lead Southern California by a score of 3-0.
Listen here, baby. I have only one a burning desire. Let me stand next to your fire.
Now at the Pontiac 98 sell down, get up to $2,250 cash back or 0.9% APR financing on select 98 Sunfire models. Just one of the many great 98 sell down values at your Pontiac dealer today.
Windows makes computers easier, right? But this point and click thing doesn't quite work if you can't see the screen. So we built in technology that makes computers easier for the blind. We first have to throw away the mouse. Good morning. Then we make the computer talk to you. If you make a computer easy to use by someone who's disabled, you learn how to make computers easy for everyone.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Pontiac Driving Excitement and your local Pontiac dealers. Miller Lite, who reminds you to enjoy Miller Lite with friends. Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. And Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC's college football. It's a 3-0 ball game at Doak Campbell Stadium on the campus of Florida State University in Tallahassee. R.J. Soward is waiting for Janikowski's kickoff. Soward 2 yards in the end zone. Larry Parker back there. It's Parker. And Parker, not Soward, brings it out. And we'll go north to John Saunders for a moment.
Well, Keith, you know Bobby Newcomb had been out since the first game of the season. D'Angelo Evans, hadn't scored a touchdown since December of '96. Missed all of last year. Bus went off for 60 yards here and a touchdown. Nebraska has their running game going. They lead it 14-zip.
And also, John, Wisconsin, big win today. Those Badgers are looking tough to me.
We've been talking about those guys
all year. 38-7 winners over Northwestern. Van Rappos turns and gives to Morton. And Chad Morton bounces literally out to about the 25-yard line. That's a pickup of about 4 yards. Chad is not all that big, but he's big enough. If you remember, Florida State had a fellow that was about this same size, in fact, not quite as big, named Dunn.
Warwick Dunn, boy. You're so right there.
Chad Morton checks in at 5'8" and about 183, 85 pounds. He spent the summer in the weight room, so he's tough. Van Rappos back, has time, throws to the sidelines, and it's a rainbow, incomplete, over the head of Larry Parker. So the SC quarterback, Van Rappos, his daddy Dick, played at Ohio State and was a long-time place kicker in pro football, San Diego.
Mike's completing 49% of his passes, as you see there. That is not good for a quarterback. This is only his 6th start. He started a couple of games last year and needs to get better.
We get a dime package in here now for the Noles. Yep. Van Raphorst lets it go, loop to the sidelines. There's nobody over there. Parker went one way, he threw it another. Windrill Hayes over there, so I don't know who it was intended for, but it wasn't near anybody.
The problem is this Seminole defense is so aggressive. They're right up in your face defensively. All that these defensive backs in the dime package you talked about, we're up there jamming them, and the timing is off a little bit for USC.
So it'll be 4th down and 6, and they'll have to punt it. The Feaster is waiting, and Mike McGilvery is ready to hit it for the Trojans. No pressure on him, gets it out. It's a low kick. Feaster's got a little room if he catches it, and he does, back at the 23. And good coverage by USC on a very low driving kick. They bring him down at the 36-yard line, where the Seminoles, leading 3-0, will have the next possession.
Room 1203 wants to swim without floaties. Marriott, when you're comfortable, you can do anything.
Listen here, baby. I have only one burning desire. Let me stand next to your fire.
Now at the Pontiac 98 sell down, get up to $2,250 cash back or 0.9% APR financing on select 98 Sunfire models. Just one of the many great 98 sell down values at your Pontiac dealer today.
That looks tasty.
It's a Big King. I got this one for free.
Gonna eat them both?
Not if you let me play baseball.
Baseball? Son, I coach. What position?
Shortstop. No, second base. And I want a bat, too.
Welcome aboard, slugger.
The Flame Broiled Big King. It's like a Big Mac, but tastes better with 75% more beef. Buy one now, say it just tastes better, and get a second one free.
How'd you boys like to play ice hockey?
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
Mark Richt on the right there, the offensive coordinator, is kind of changing the MO this year. Is for Chris Winkie. He wants to run the ball a little bit more, not throw as much. Here in the past, they used to throw the ball out. Here's a 3-wide receiver formation. Passing last year 63% of the time. Now they're not throwing as much. Here's a typical running formation, the I formation. You'll see that they're running the ball more in 1998 than they did last year. And that is because Chris Winkie is only in his second year on campus, not in the 4th year like some of the other quarterbacks that took over for FSU.
Winkie goes big, and is too big. And there's a penalty flag. You're going to get a flag over there because I think Cole's going down the field against Antoine Simmons. Might have been held. He threw that thing almost 50 yards.
He had a strong arm on it.
Yeah.
You're going to see this type of thing all day, Keith. The hand fighting on the outside with the receivers on both sides are big play players, and the defensive backs, the corners, are darn good. So they're going to be battling all day long.
Isn't this supposed to be a catchable ball? Who's holding who there?
I don't know.
But the football is at least 10 feet over his head.
I don't think the guy in the white shirt did anything in that picture anyway.
Bob, I'll agree with you. I'm sitting and watching the play the whole time the ball's in the air. The defensive back isn't aware until the receiver looks back. He turns around, he went all over him, and I thought it was defensive pass interference, and so did Paul Hackett. He was livid on the sideline.
You mean offensive pass interference, yeah.
I didn't see anything. There's pressure on Winkie. They knock him down, and Winkie throws it away, avoiding the loss. But he took a pretty good little lick when he went down on his ear.
Well, another screen pass for the Seminoles, and he didn't have long to wait, as you mentioned, because Abdul Shahid, number 52, was in on him. And he just threw that away.
3-0. Seminoles leading, 6:51 to play in a very long, raggedy first quarter.
Not a good start for Chris Winkie throwing the ball, 1 of 7. Seminoles have had the ball now. This is their 4th possession. Punted on the first 2 and then got a field goal.
But back to the shotgun. Or as they called it when Charlie Ward was here, the fast break offense. Good protection, balls thrown underneath, but Deep Easter never had a chance. He was leveled by Zeke Moreno when the ball arrived. It's going to be 3rd down at about 10.
This Trojan defense, Keith, is pretty darn good. They lead the Pac-10 in total defense. And in fact, they're 7th in the nation. They see there they have no second half touchdowns allowed, 1 field goal. They're 7th in the nation against the pass. So this is going to be a battle all day long.
Marvin Menace is on the field now. The little speedster on 3rd down and 10. Winkie back, pressure from the backside, passes down the middle. It's incomplete. It was intended for Feaster, and it was Abdul Malik coming in to knock Winkie away from his intentions, and that was to throw the ball down the middle with authority, and he just absolutely denied it.
This is going to be a defensive battle, I think. Both teams have pretty young quarterbacks and ends that can rush the passer. And there you see Malik, Abdul Malik, with the heat on the quarterback.
You'll know in the morning he's been here. Snap, kick, knuckleball floating down. Morton's going to let it go, and it takes a bounce and bounces into the end zone where it'll come out to the 20-yard line. First down for Southern California. That goes down as a 48-yard punt. Sunday Night Live at 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific on ESPN. Cincinnati takes on Baltimore. The Bengals and the Ravens. 8:15 Eastern time on ESPN. So the Trojans at the 20. Now let's see if they can handle the ball. Things been like a hot rock so far today. Matter of fact, they've been playing like they've been walking on hot coals all day. Van Rapport turns and hands the ball inside to Petros Papadakis. And Petros slams his way. He's the thumper. He's in there for about 2 yards.
The Trojans already have 2 turnovers, Keith. The one came on the punt return where one of the Trojans touched the ball and FSU recovered, and the other was on a long pass downfield by Van Rapport.
Give him 3, call it 2nd down 7. Ball out at the 23-yard line. Going on 2nd down. That's the rainbow, and it's up for grabs. I mean, he was going down. Jerry Johnson, a very, very good defensive tackle for Florida State, put him on his back. You can't complete passes when you lay it on your back.
Johnson is number 92. And he's just going to get right through the center of the line. Now, Van Rapport is waiting for a late breaking receiver, and you just can't take that long. These defensive backs on the outside, again, are jamming, bumping, and running, and it's disrupting the timing. And you better get open before that because you're not going to have a lot of time to wait.
You're right. You haven't heard the name R.J. Soward lately, because they're chucking him at the line of scrimmage and they're really slamming him. And Chad Morton taking that little swing pass going to the sidelines. And you've got another penalty flag on the field. Might be a late hit.
Foul, late hit, defense, 15 yards.
So the Seminoles will take a big hit with that one. That's 15 yards. Bobby's saying, are these ACC officials?
Yeah, just a late hit out of bounds.
Oh, we've had a lot of flags. That moves the Trojans on up the field, all the way out to the 44-yard line where it'll be a first down. 94 degrees when we started. Still better than what was anticipated. Some of the impact of the Hurricane George, but that's coming. Ball is handed off to R.J. Soward. He's a flyer. 2 nose are after him, but he just keeps giving them a hit and keeps on running them downfield. And He's got the ball over on the Florida State side at the 36-yard line where Tay Cody finally got him out of bounds.
Well, he's exciting. He went in motion across the formation. Now he's coming back. And this guy has 6 punt return or kickoff returns for touchdowns. So when he gets the ball, he knows how to run with it. Take a look at here. 20 touchdowns in his 20 career games, and 15 of those 20 have been for 40 yards or more.
Billy Miller was helping him along the way. Soward goes out for a breather on this hot day. Van Rapport's back on first down. Now he's going to try to run up the middle. And that's not a very good idea against Florida State. Gary Johnson makes the tackle, and there will be a loss on the play of a couple of yards, and here's Swanee.
You're a playmaker, they have to find a way to get you the ball. And if you're a wide receiver and they can't throw you the football because, like here, number 4, Edwards is just doing a great job, Saunders rather, is doing a great job of tying him up, then you give them the ball on another play. You give it on the reverse. Right here, Mario comes up and does a great job pushing him to the outside. But again, if you're a playmaker, they'll find another way to get you the ball, Keith.
Yeah, they're going to try to wear him out. Well, so far they've handled him pretty well. This is Chad Morton trying to bounce outside and can't do it. Picks up 2 yards before Troy Saunders brings him down. The Seminole secondary is playing hard, tough football right now. I mean, they've been involved in a lot of defensive plays.
Fullback right there is going to get a block on Simon. That's kind of like a sucker play, but I don't know. I think the fullback kind of got suckered. He didn't knock Simon very far.
Jason Grain, the center, has just limped off the field for Southern California. So that means Pritchard goes over to center, I think. Well, they're in trouble at that center position. The first and second string centers are both hurt. However, Van Rapport comes off with that snap, throws complete to the sideline to Soward, and Soward is taken down by Mario Edwards. So Matt McShane, who is still actually hurt and sore, but he's in there right now because Jason Grain went limping off the field. Well, they don't want McShane to play much. As a matter of fact, he's gone back off the field already, so Grain can come back.
Right. That's a good point, Keith. And, you know, when you have problems with your center position, that's where the whole thing starts. If you can't get the quarterback-center exchange, you have big problems.
USC calls the timeout. 3-0 Florida State leading.
This is for anyone
who looks at things differently.
This is for the green light.
This is for Saturday night.
This is for people who want to be noticed.
This is for your dreams.
This is Pontiac driving excitement.
Now, drive more of it at the Pontiac 98 Sell-Down with 0.9% APR financing or up to $2,750 cash back on select 98 models. More reason than ever to see all the great 98 Sell-Down values at your Pontiac dealer today.
This is for me.
For
me.
Tonight, ABC is turning Saturday into Saturday with Fantasy Island and Cupid. Saturday! Make a Saturday with 2 men who want to change your destiny. Mr. Rourke.
Welcome to Fantasy Island.
And Trevor Hale, a.k.a. Cupid.
Dream girl, describe her to me. See what we can do.
Make a date with destiny tonight with the new Fantasy Island and Cupid.
Saturday night will never be the same old trip.
Be ready tonight at 9/8 Central for ABC Premier Saturday.
It would have been easy to have been a football player and not a student. And conversely, it would have been much easier to have been just a student and left football for some other day and time. But it wouldn't have been as joyous, as rich, as humbling to have been one without the other. So for all of us, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, not for a single award on a single night, but for the many memorable and molding moments that we have had the privilege to call ourselves student athletes.
We're about to have a 49-yard field goal try by Adam Abrams of Southern California to tie the game. His career long is 46 rather. So this will be the longest of his career as a Trojan. Mike Bastianelli, wide receiver, is the holder. A little bit of wind to help him. Kick is on its way. Good. 49-yarder for Adam Abrams to tie the score at 3 with 2 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Big boost there, Keith. Just get on the board. The first points on the board, on the road in a hostile environment. Now that helps you forget about those turnovers that you made earlier in the ball game.
The other game being played down in Gainesville today. Kentucky leads Florida 14-7 in the first quarter. Craig East of Kentucky went 100 yards on a kickoff return.
He's a good wide receiver. He's doing double duty.
Next Saturday on ABC Sports, college football doubleheader. Game 1 noon Eastern, except on the West Coast. Penn State is at Ohio State in the Horseshoe. And then at 3:30 Eastern, these are the games. Michigan, Iowa, Washington State, UCLA, Clemson, North Carolina, or Colorado, Oklahoma. And then at 4 Pacific for the West Coast only, Arizona State and the Southern California Trojans. So check the local listings in your area or call your cable or satellite company if you'd like one of the other games on pay-per-view. Some thunder heads around, and a thunderstorm is always possible this time of the year in Florida. So that has nothing to do, I don't think, with George. Here's the kickoff now from David Bell. The deep man for Florida State are Coles and DeFeaster.
Coles returned one last week, 97 yards for a touchdown.
He's got it right here, a yard deep in the end zone. Fires for the crack, and he's down about the 22-yard line, and away we go to John.
Well, Keith, Nebraska puts it on the ground, and they just keep coming right at you. D'Angelo Evans one more time, 60 yards on a touchdown run. This one covered 14 yards for his second of the game, still in the first quarter. Nebraska rolling right now, 21-zip, Keith.
So the Huskers are doing a tap dance on the Huskies right now out in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Beat them pretty good up in Seattle last year, too, didn't they?
Yeah, they took Hewitt out of the game. Remember, Wistrom rolled up on his ankle.
Yep.
First down, Florida State. Their own 23 in the backfield. Travis Minor with the carry. And they've handled Travis so far today. Picked up about 3 yards on it. Duke was down here last week, and apparently the Duke defenders along the defensive front had the flu. As a result, Winky, the quarterback, and most of the Florida State offensive front got the flu.
Oh, come on.
That's a good run by Travis Minor as he works his way through the line of scrimmage, and Rashard Cook finally brings him down after he picks up the first down at the 35-yard line. Travis Minor from Baton Rouge, sophomore.
Florida State offensively leads the ACC in total offense, but they're not as sharp as they have been in the past.
Big guy up front, Glenn, on the first down carry, 2 yards. Claiborne and company stacked that up quickly. David Gibson, 22 there. And Abdul Shaib. And Mark Mattock. 1.5 minutes to play in the first quarter now. 3-3 ball game. Kind of a slow, ragged start.
Well, it's a defensive game, Keith. Both of these teams are dominant on defense, and the quarterbacks are having their troubles getting into some kind of rhythm.
Second down and 8. Puts it back to Minor. He gives it away to Warwick. Rinky's out in front of Warwick. Throws a block for him, and Peter's still going. And they finally run him out of bounds, but he's on the USC side of the field at the 47-yard line. Chris Claiborne was the man that finally got him out of bounds.
Warwick is a guy that you want, a wide receiver, number 9, on a reverse. It's a guy you want to get the ball to 10 or 15 times a game, whether you throw it to him or hand it to him on a reverse or let him kick it to him on a kickoff or a punt return. He is exciting.
Claiborne saved the touchdown because he was about to cut loose and go. Southern California 47-yard line, first down.
He's on the sideline resting. The heat and humidity here, Keith, will be a factor in the fourth quarter of this game. A lot of substituting along the defensive line for both teams.
is Reiner. No, it's Feaster. Feaster. Wheeling in the middle. 33. He puts the ball down on the 44-yard line.
Glenn is 31, and Claiborne, number 55 there, is a All-American middle linebacker. And Mark Richt told us yesterday he wasn't going to have any ISO plays where the fullback blocks in a little opening like that against that middle linebacker Claiborne, but that looked like an ISO to me, and Claiborne won it.
Second down, long 7. Ball handed inside again to Feaster, and this time Feaster takes a hammer job from Grant Pearsall, number 43, who's coming back from a leg injury. They need Pearsall in that secondary. He's a hitter and plays in the middle of the field.
Good tackle there. He's a good player, and he's been out for a year with that injury, but like you say, they need him in that backfield.
We played one at Doak Campbell Stadium. We're all even at 3-3, and we'll be back after this message and the word from our ABC stations.
This is for
Anyone who looks at things differently.
This is for the green light.
This is for Saturday night.
This is for people who want to be noticed.
This is for your dreams.
This is Pontiac driving excitement.
Now, drive more of it at the Pontiac 98 sell-down with 0.9% APR financing or up to $2,750 cash back on select 98 models. More reason than ever to see all the great 98 sell-down values at your Pontiac dealer today.
This is for me. For me.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
We're talking about eligible receivers. In this play, number 70 is downfield. Is he eligible to catch a pass?
Accidents happen, and no matter where or when they do, the world's largest claims service network gets on the case immediately. Prompt, personal claims service is no accident. So we can get you back on the road faster than you can say, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We're talking about eligible receivers. In this play, number 70 is downfield. He is ineligible by number. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're watching ABC.
So now, Bill, how do you go about buying one of these things? Is there a showroom? You watch the ads?
No, ma'am. They're all custom built.
Oh, sounds pricey. No sales or incentives, huh?
It doesn't work that way.
Now, see, I only mention that because your Ford dealer has a pretty great offer right now.
Get $1,500 cash back or less than 1% APR on a safe and roomy 98 Windstar.
Quite a deal.
Yeah, well, I won't rub it in. So what, these guys just go round and round in a circle?
Don't miss this great deal on Windstar at your Southern Ford dealer.
Has your home phone been disconnected? ComSouth can get you talking again for just $49. Oh, another phone company money? We'll hook you up for only $49. That's right. You can get unlimited local calls and 911 emergency access now for just $49 a month. No deposit, no credit, no ID. Just $49 for your first month service. Don't be without a home phone and don't pay more than $49. Call our local agent to join ComSouth now.
Long 4 from the Southern California 41-yard line. Warwick in motion. He just had the big play out of the shotgun. It's Wenke back to throw. Passes away to the sidelines. And it is caught. It is caught out of and taken out of bounds down at the 13-yard line. First down, Seminoles. D. Feaster.
Number 33 on the right side there is Feaster. He's going to run a swing route on McCutcheon. McCutcheon not expecting the ball to be there so quickly to a back out of the backfield. And that's a nice play by Feaster.
And the Noles are knocking on the door. Looks to me like the man that Florida State, that Mark Ricks may have decided to go after is McCutcheon.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but he was the guy that was in that area that time. He has thrown on him a couple other times, though.
4 times. Ball is handed inside. It's Rashard Cook, number 8, coming up to make the tackle on Feaster. While we were away, they told a story of some Seminole fan here who had been here like 590 consecutive games. And then the public address announcer told the story of Giles Pellerin of Southern California, who's here at age 91 for his 790th consecutive USC game. And we saw Giles yesterday, and it's worth noting to you, to give you some perspective, when Giles started this streak of consecutive Trojan games that he's attended, Calvin Coolidge was president. 2nd down and 9. Mickey on a rollout, has a lot of time. Now pressure comes, and they run him out of bounds. Boy, he's lucky he got out without something broken. But
good coverage.
Claiborne was after him.
Well, nobody opened downfield. He did a smart thing and just given up on the play. Claiborne is the middle linebacker right there in the middle, number 55. It's man coverage, so he's just running to the quarterback.
Just missed it.
There was nothing downfield, and he did a nice job of not throwing it up for grabs like he did earlier in the ball game, and just ran out of bounds.
Travis Minor has come back on the field. I think you got Feaster and Minor both in there now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yep. They're working out of the shotgun. These two guys can catch the ball. And now we've got a timeout called, and it's charged against the Seminoles. So there's some uncertainty they take time to talk about, trying not to waste an opportunity.
What are you doing? It's a perfectly good Budweiser. Yeah, what do you think this stuff is for?
What the heck is wrong with you?
Kicker.
Hey, how's it going? See the game?
The lightweight aluminum in your car radiator is the only thing between you and a breakdown. Put in Prestone. It bonds with aluminum to give you a powerful zone of protection against corrosion. Protect your car in the Prestone zone.
Afraid your next get-together will be a flop? Order Chili's Party Platters. Act now. Call a Chili's representative, and your guests will flip over party-sized servings of buffalo wings, fajitas, baby back ribs, and more. End pre-party stress now. Order Chili's Party Platters new from Chili's.
It's time to save big. Now with Ford Escort and ZX2, you don't have to choose between low APR financing and cash back, because now you can get both during the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance. For the first time ever, get low 0.9% APR financing and $1,000 cash back. It's the best deal ever on today's Escort. Financial experts would call this a win-win situation. But hurry, the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance ends October 2nd at your local Ford dealer.
The #1 team in the nation, Ohio State, meets undefeated Penn State at 12 noon, followed by Michigan against Iowa, plus other regional action next Saturday on ABC.
Seminoles have been pretty good inside the 20-yard line. This will be a tough one, though. It's 3rd down and 12. They've only converted 1 3rd down into a 1st down so far here today.
Travis Minor is at the quarterback's left. Dee Feaster to his right. Wanky back out of the shotgun. Pressure's on. Mattock chases him out. He unloads the ball to Feaster, and Feaster is down inside the 5-yard line and may have a 1st down. So they got him spread out, and Wanky showed enough patience that time, and finally somebody came loose. Bingo.
It's a screen pass. They tried to get the ball to Feaster on a little screen to the right side. And the telestrator isn't working, but here it is. Look to the right. Now he's going to cut back into the middle of the field. And Winkie does a nice job of staying with him, keeping it alive, and Feaster does the same.
It's not quite a 1st down. It's 4th and 1, and I'm not sure it's a full yard, and the Seminoles have sent the big fellows onto the field to try to get that 1st down. Now I think Southern California may say, wait a minute, no. So far, it's Florida State saying, wait a minute.
They didn't have enough time on the 25-second clock.
Yep,
See,
they ran out of time.
Yep. And a lot of times, that's not the players on the field fault as much as it is the coaches in getting the play in from the sideline.
So the threat remains at 13:03 to go in the first half.
Yeah, baby. I like it like that. I like it like that. I like it like that. I got soul. I got soul. I like it like that. Yo a ti te quiero. I like it like that. Baby. I like it like that. I like it like that. I like it like that. I like it like that.
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one, and we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. And in the morning when I rise, you bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
You know, Joe's the kind of guy whose hands are always dirty, no matter how deep the scrub. You see, his hands are his livelihood. Barely ever see any time off. His hands are strong, steady and sure. The kind of hands that can only grip the wheel of a truck. Of course, that truck is a Ford F-Series with a more powerful Triton engine and 50 years of toughness. You might say it fits Joe's hands like a glove. Not that he'd ever wear any. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
It's 4th down and a short yard for Florida State, just inside the Southern California 5-yard line. Both fullbacks, Russell McCray and Lamar Glenn, are in there, but it's Travis Minor, the deep man. He's got the ball to the right side. Chris Claiborne got him. And the question is, where did he get him? It's close.
What a great play by Claiborne, playing off of the block.
We'll put the chain down and see where we are. It's short. Trojans hold and take over the ball. So Chris Claiborne makes an All-American play.
Number 71, Carmichael, is going to be out there blocking on him, and he just throws him aside and then throws the running back aside. Nice play, big-time play in a critical situation.
And so the Trojans will get control of the football at their own 3-yard line, literally. It's right in just beyond the 3. And the home folks are hooting down there because they want to make it as uncomfortable as they can for USC. Chad Morton out of the end zone will get a yard, and that'll do it. Obviously, the Florida State defense wants to pin them down and force the punt and get field position. So they may force the pass. And when you start forcing the pass out of the end zone, things can happen.
Yeah, well, and especially with a young quarterback like Van Raphorst, who is not having a good day. 1 of 5 for only 5 yards and an interception.
2nd down and 9. Morton loses the yard he gained, and there's a penalty flag. Corey Simon on that tackle. Penalties against the Trojans, half the distance. 20.
Sun is out, and it's hot and humid, but the rain is coming down. Now, keep in mind, rain, a wet field makes it difficult to run the ball. Yep. But underneath this field, Florida State has pumps. If it gets to be heavy, the field will be in pretty good shape considering the amount of rain that may come down, Keith.
I think that's just a little shower, but it came over the top of the stage. Nobody saw it from here because it came right up over the back and over our head. But
bright sunshine and rain.
Very inopportune time for USC. Passes away, and it's a floater out of bounds And incomplete, not even close to the receiver.
You can see the rain coming down, and how unfortunate for Van Raaphorst throwing out of his own end zone on third down to say, hey, now the rain comes from my own end zone. Third down, I got to throw this ball against one of the best defenses in the country.
I don't know if that's a thunderstorm or not. I can't see it. Just all of a sudden it started raining.
It's from behind us. And I can bet you that a lot of people are enjoying being cooled off by the rain.
Well, you're right. McGilvery out of the end zone. Has to be careful he doesn't step out. Gets a good kick out of there. This is the best kick of the game so far by either team, and it's out to about midfield and across midfield. So that's a very good kick from deep in the end zone down to the Florida State 46-yard line, stopping your clock at 11:42 to go in the first half, and we're even at 3. 50-yard punt.
Happy birthday.
Oh, good. Another apple. Where's Danny?
Oh, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive.
Thank you.
This is the taste.
Relax. Kick back. Rest easy. Not the first thoughts that come to mind when investing on your own. But working with our financial advisors, you'll feel differently.
Every client's ambition should be our ambition. Their dreams, our dreams.
Isn't it reassuring to know that whatever your goals in a complex world, someone will be looking out for you?
We measure success, one investor at a time.
Dave and Ann got tickets for the opera last weekend. So to get in the mood, they listened to it in their new Ford Explorer. Turns out the opera was about some guy who goes through the deepest woods, climbs the highest mountains, and braves the wildest rivers just to reach the one he loved. Obviously, it was inspiring stuff. Hey, some people just get more inspired than others. Ford Explorer, built Ford tough.
Promotional consideration provided by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Bowl Championship Series on ABC.
Let's go!
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Ford Taurus. Ford, built to last. Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. Budweiser, now is the perfect time to enjoy a fresh, cold Beechwood-aged Budweiser. And Burger King, if you ask us, it just tastes better. Well, it's still sprinkling here at Doak Campbell Stadium, but as Bob said, the folks in the stands are probably happy to get a little moisture.
I think this is one of the. I think this is just might be one of the real outer bands from that hurricane that's swirling in the Gulf.
So it's Florida State with an opportunity from their own 46-yard line. Penalty flag down on the first snap. Deep Easter carries, and Chris Claiborne gets another tackle for Southern California. Score out west, Oregon 14, Stanford nothing in the first quarter. And in case you haven't heard, Nebraska out over Washington 21-0 in the first half.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Well, the numbers in the first quarter don't show much offensively. The USC had 2 turnovers. It didn't hurt them much. The Seminoles only got 3 points off it. But the thing to notice is the penalties. 9 penalties in the first quarter alone, and we just had one against USC.
Jeff Chaney is now the deep back for Florida State and has the ball. Fresh legs. He's a sophomore out of Lake Wales. And he rips in there and gets a first down for the Seminoles at the Southern California 43. Jeff Chaney has showed up. He did everything asked for him. He played special teams. He worked hard. He banged away. And all of a sudden, he's gotten a chance to play and had a lot of fun against Duke last week. As you see, he picked up 88 yards. First down from the 43 now. And Weinke stands up and throws to the sidelines. And it's out of bounds, incomplete. Here's Lynn Swan.
Well, Keith, the reason why D. Pfister and Chaney are in the ball game is because Travis Minor on the last possession, the first play of the last possession, twisted his left ankle. And he has been out of the ball game. He came in for a little bit towards the end of that last possession. They taped over that ankle, that left ankle. When he goes in at halftime, they'll undress that shoe and tape it underneath the shoe. But right now, I don't think that the coaching staff feels he needs to be in the ball game, Keith.
Okay. 2nd down and 10. Still a scattering of rain. This is Chaney. Here's a young fellow who's saying, hey, I'm here. I want my time. He just picked up about 10 yards.
Good tough running there. Donald Heaven, one of the linemen out in front of him, 78. 31 is Glenn.
And 60 is Carlos Thomas.
Yeah.
And he had a fair to Midland escort going down the field for just about 10 yards.
These two teams battled it out in the Coliseum last year, Keith. 14-7 was the final. It was a defensive battle then, too.
Well, if Southern California's corner, Brian Kelly holds the ball, walks in from 12 yards, they beat Seminole.
Late in the game, that's right. Exactly right.
But I thought it was very interesting yesterday when Mark Rick, the offensive coordinator, was saying, we look out there on the field and everywhere we look, we see number 7.
Yeah.
Chad Morton. And this year, they're looking at him from the tailback spot.
There's Mark on the right side. He calls the plays. Bobby's giving that up. The only thing Bobby says, he says, let me call my trick plays. So I want to call the trick ones. Don't you call.
All right, they don't have the first down, as you saw on the measurement, so they'll go for it here on 3rd and short. Raining hard right now. Handed off to the big guy, fullback William McCray, and he's wedging in there behind Thomas and Whitaker and Carmichael. And it's raining very hard right now. Swanee, how big is that cloud? We can't see it. It's behind us. Is it a thunderstorm, or what are we looking at?
I don't think it's a thunderstorm. I'd be more inclined to think it's at the edge of the hurricane. It's just solid and gray and very nasty looking, Keith. Yep. And I'm getting awfully wet.
Oh, boy.
But, you know, over the field and from where we're looking, it's all blue sky. And, you know, you see those hurricane bands as they swirl around. You'll see a huge cloud, and then you'll see clear on both sides. So if I know my meteorology and these hurricanes from South Florida, you know, this will pass.
You really think you know your meteorology?
Well, you know, I've been watching these hurricanes for a long time down there. I went through Andrew in '92.
It's 4th down here for Florida State and inches. They did not get it. The big fullback did not get it. They turned him back. So they're on 4th down. They'll go with a wet ball. Lamar Glenn is the up back. And the quarterback. And he stands 6'5", and he's got plenty of wedge power, and he'll put it down on the 32-yard line where it will be finally a first down for Florida State. Now the Aflac trivia question this week. Who are the only 3 wide receivers to win 4 Super Bowl rings? We'll have the answer for you in a few minutes.
I know one.
I know 2.
Chris Winkie is 4 of 12 for 81 yards.
Neither quarterback's done much so far.
Now they've had a tough way to go.
The best pass completion Winkie's had so far was when he had the patience to wait for Feaster to come loose.
Right, the 3rd down play, going up the sideline. And he's had to burn a lot of timeouts on offensive drives.
Florida State is out of timeouts now. They don't have any left at 9 minutes and 47 seconds to play in a rather tedious first half.
I believe I can call.
I think I'll use the phone in the hall.
I call my friends just to say hi.
With 5 cent Sundays from MCI.
My Space Jam buddies and I stay in close touch with MCI's 5 cent Sundays.
Just 5 cents a minute.
Every minute.
Every Sunday.
Along with low rates all week long. Call 1-800-Sundays to become an MCI customer.
I believe I can call.
Franklin Perry may have the safest house on Bristol Court thanks to Liberty Mutual.
Wow! A Carnothoris sapidus.
That's one mean bush.
We have over 500 home safety tips, including how to prevent break-ins.
The ancient Greeks called this the bush of pain.
Tips like planting prickly bushes under your windows and installing deadbolt locks. Safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. Liberty Mutual.
We come here on a glorious quest, a search for that which can be found nowhere else. Where? In the trenches where mighty men clash? Amidst the echoes of glory's past? High atop Olympus?
There's your flag.
Well, he saved the touchdown by holding him.
Yeah, Antoine Simmons just held Peter Warwick in the end zone, and he prevented a touchdown. But they'll get hit with a 15-yard penalty. So they went to their big receiver in the end zone, and here's a replay on it.
Well, you look at the protection here is good. There's the holding. Number 6, Simmons. Well, I don't know if he held him much or not.
Doesn't matter what you think.
Oh, I know. Hey, now that wasn't very nice. Hey, wait a minute. He looked back for it. I think he just slipped. I don't know if he was held or not.
Yeah, they marked 15 yards off against him, and the ball is down on the 17-yard line. And Winky back again. Hands the ball this time to Chaney. And Chaney, impressive, takes it down to the 10. Southern California had a goal line stand. They stopped them on 4th and short. Great play by Claiborne, and now they're getting themselves in a fix for Florida State's knocking on the door.
All right, Hoss, take a look at this. Left-hand corner, number 6 in the white shirt. Where does he hold?
Right there.
Yeah, he does kind of hold him, doesn't he? He's not holding like a grasp a jersey, but he was holding him with his right hand, holding him off. All right, good job, guys.
Had a handful of shirt. Second down, call it 3. Feaster is in the backfield again. Up front, Lamar Glenn gets the carry. And that's about 3 yards. So it's just crunch, grind, and crunch so far in the game.
Stop was made by number 57, Aaron Williams.
Well, the personality of Mark Richt and Bobby Bowden is to have an offense that's exciting and explosive and scores quickly. That's what they've had around here for the last 7 or 8 years with all these veteran quarterbacks that they plug in. But this year's team with Chris Winky, even though he's a 26-year-old mature young man, he is still a sophomore with his 2nd year on campus, and he does not have the experience to run this offense like they had when they had Casey Weldon step in his 4th year, and Charlie Ward step in his 4th year, and Thad Busby and Danny Cannell to step in their 4th year. And Bobby realizes that, so he says we got to go back and run the ball and do this, get more balance in this offense, run and pass.
We just had a measurement for a first down by the length of a half a ball, and Florida State has it 1st and goal at the Southern California 7-yard line. Feaster is the deep man. Winky throwing. Out in the flat, the pass is incomplete. The pass was intended for McCray, fullback, out of the backfield, defended by Antoine Simmons.
Defended by number 6, Antoine Simmons.
A lot of skill at the wide receiver and the corner position, and there's some battles going on. This ball was thrown to the outside. He should have caught it.
Yeah.
Yep. You're going to get hit whether you catch it or not. So
that ball was there.
Take it with you.
Chaney is back in the backfield again for Florida State on 2nd down and goal. He's got the ball going around the corner, getting a block from Lamar. Glenn scores.
The ball came out. Did they say he scored or not?
He was across the line before the ball came out.
All right.
Donald Heaven turned him around the corner with a good block, and then Lamar Glenn got one more block over there on the corner, and he was in. So Chaney, who went for 88 last week against Duke, very impressive today.
look at the end of the play. It's Claiborne, number 55, that comes back and gets a piece of it, but it's too late.
For the extra point, Janikowski. Boom. He's such a big, strong guy. They finally got him to choke his motor a little bit, and he's become much more effective.
We come here on a glorious quest, a search for that which can be found nowhere else. Where? In the trenches where mighty men clash, amidst the echoes of glories past, high atop Olympus. No, this is our quest. This is what football is all about. Now all I gotta do is find that nacho guy.
Pinned the 3-ball game with 8:17 to go. Story from down south continues to grow. Florida now has come to the lead over Kentucky, 28-14. And the UCLA-Miami, in case you did not hear, was canceled because of the hurricane threat, and they will make it up in December. And there might be, if it's needed, sort of a phrase onto that.
Canceled or postponed? Postponed. At this point, yeah, postponed.
R.J. Soward and Larry Parker are the beat people for Southern California. Janikowski to kick it off. Oh, there will be no return of this one. Rain still spitting down occasionally. It'll come back to the 20 for the touchback.
The fullbacks in the Florida State system, number 31, have to block, especially middle linebackers. 31 is Lamar Glenn. He does a nice job. This is called a got block by the offensive player. You didn't get him down, but you occupied him, you backed him up. Claiborne gets the fumble in the end zone, but it's a little late.
Tell you what, trying to block that guy is like trying to fight a barn full of grizzly bears.
Yeah, but Glenn did all he could do. That is, he tied him up for a little while, let the back get past him.
Heck of a job. Van Raphorst gives the ball to Morton, and there are 3 Seminoles all over him. The first man is Tony Bryant, number 40.
Larry Smith is there too, number 96.
He's coming back from the injury. Yeah. This is the first action he's had in a long time.
There's Bryant, number 40, who gets there first, and Larry Smith, 96, who had that ankle injury in the kickoff classic, and this is the first time he's played since then.
You know, they get him back healthy. He'll add so much zest to that Florida State defense. And it'll be, you won't even recognize it.
The two best defensive tackles in the nation right here at FSU.
Chad Morton tumbling his way up the field, and Chad gets it back to the 22-yard line, picking up the loss and then some. So it'll be 3rd down and a goodly bit. 3rd down and 8.
Not a lot of offensive numbers for the Trojans. Only 1 catch by their big man on the outside.
Florida State's not going to give you time to go back there and have a look. You're not going to be a spectator.
0 of 4 on 3rd down conversions for USC.
He rolls out and buys the time and throws it on the ground, throws it into the ground. So Billy Miller was out there in the general vicinity, but the ball was a good 5 yards from Billy when he hit the ground. So the Florida State defense does its job.
Well, this defense is one of the best in the nation and has been over the last 3 or 4 years. Defensive ends has been their specialty. They've had 4 number 1 draft choices come out of here in the last 4 years from defensive end positions.
Mike McGilvery in the punt. Pressure on. He just got it away, and it's a good one. All the way back to the 34-yard line on the fair catch by D. Feaster, and it's 1st down for Florida State. I won't be surprised by what we might see Carson Palmer on the next offensive series for Southern California, just to change the pace if nothing else. The freshman quarterback. They've been playing him in the 2nd quarter in most of the games.
And Keith and Bob, you were talking about Florida State's defense and how good they are, but keep in mind the teams that have beaten Florida State, how they've beaten them. they've beaten them because they've been able to put the ball in the air. Jacques Green at Florida and Terry Holt at North Carolina State had great ball games. Now, normally, this is a stat we'd show you while USC is on the field. But the defense is so good, we can't keep them on the field long enough, Keith.
Well, they can't get anything outside to their so-called big play people. They've just shut them down. Soward has not been heard from hardly at all. Little gain on the play. Tackled by Grant Pearsall. Here's John Saunders.
Well, Keith, in Washington against Nebraska, D'Angelo Evans, do you think he was chomping at the bit? Here takes a little pitch out here, and this one covers 19 yards. His third touchdown of the game. How about 7 carries for 107 yards? Keith.
That's convincing, isn't it? 28-0.
Frank Solich doing a nice job, isn't he?
That's not very well thrown for Lavernius Coles. It's well short of its mark.
It's just a poor throw, Keith. You know, Winky came in with such high expectations of himself and the coaching staff of him, because he was a highly regarded young man coming out of high school. There is a learning curve that you have to go through. I mean, just because you were good at one level and you have a lot of maturity, that doesn't mean that you're absolutely just going to fall out on the field and go with it. He's gone through some adversity.
3rd down and 10, has good protection. This time the pass is on the money, and the catch is made by Peter Warwick, and he caught it over there in front of Ken Haslip.
The difference in those 2 passes, the one just before and this one, is he didn't rush him. He sat up, he faked. Both of them he faked. Now this time he sets up, he gets his feet set, steps up in the pocket, and just throws. Don't overthrow it. Wait till your receiver breaks. It's hanging right now, and there it is.
Yeah, the guy at the end of the pass ain't bad.
Well, that's true. Well, the guy was open to play before too, but he just rushed it.
First down at midfield. Lets it go down the middle, and it is underthrown. There was one man deep down there, and he was getting double coverage, Peter Warwick, and was also losing his footage as he tried to come back to the ball in front of McCutcheon.
Dalen McCutcheon, number 1. It's a good matchup right here. Dalen doesn't go for that outside stuff, and he's right with him. Right with him, but it's the free safety that you saw slide across that forced the low throw.
Richard Cook.
Good coverage by McCutcheon.
5:50 to play in the first half. That pass is completed to Ron Dugan's number 80, and he made the catch in front of Ken Haslip.
Winky's kind of getting in the groove here. Mark Richt, I think that's the 4th consecutive pass that he's thrown. And in the past, when you've had Thad Busby and Cannell and Charlie Ward and those guys, wouldn't be unusual to see him go in a no-huddle offense and just throw the ball all the way down the field. But in talking to Mark yesterday, he said, you know, there's some things that Purdue did against USC that I'd like to do in 3 and 4 wide receivers that I don't want to do right now with Chris Winky.
3rd down and a half yard. Quarterback sneak gets the first down. Winky at 6'5", 225. You don't need to worry about him getting boxed around a little bit in the middle. He's big enough. Monday Night Football, live at its new time, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Tampa Bay and the Detroit Lions. Barry Sanders and company against Trent Dilfer and company. And
you talk about
Warwick Dunn. He's over here.
Yeah, Warwick Dunn and right? 2 marquee running backs. Boy, you talk about some small guys playing in the big leagues. They can light it up.
Total plays in this first half. This will be the 42nd play for Florida State. Southern California's had only 19. This is Chaney. Inside the 20. First down at the 19-yard line before Cook finally drags him down. Jeff Chaney.
Watch Carmichael, number 71, getting out in front of him. 75 is Dorsey coming back from an injury, but Chaney, thank you very much, waits for his blocks and then gets it downfield and then holds on to the ball when the party's over.
He's a 200-pounder who went to Lake Wales High School. He thought he had the number 2 job nailed down, but then lost it. Now he's fighting his way back up the ladder and looking very good the last 2 weeks. 88 yards against Duke, and you've seen him here today. Chaney with the ball again. Florida State can stick it in the end zone here. They're going to be a very happy group going to the clubhouse at halftime.
Well, especially with the strength of their defense and the inability of the Trojan offense to get anything done in the first half. The Trojan offense has had the ball 5 times, and 4 times they've been 3 and out.
It's the defense that's kept them this close. 2nd down and 8. Winky. Get a little heat here. Gets away from it.
Nobody over there.
Now he finally runs out of time. Yeah. Mark Cusano finally came over and got him. Mark from Texas, the Colony, senior linebacker.
Cusano is a starter from last year. Has had some injury problems. This play goes to the quarterback's left initially. See Carmichael pulling in, and when nothing is over there and he has to run back, there is no receivers over there to the right side. You see Glenn come back and get a block, but there's nobody to throw the ball to over there.
Yeah, Lawrence Larry had him in his sights, and Lamar came over and picked him off. So it is 3rd down and 15 now for Florida State. They lead 10-3 at 2:50 to play in the first half. On 3rd and long, penalty flag is on the ground. The ball is out of bounds, incomplete. Linesman on this side threw the flag.
That was a poor throw by Winky, but what he needs to do is move his feet. He couldn't see the receiver. He just needs to move his feet a little bit.
Offside. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. Repeat the down.
That's what happens when you get tired on a hot, muggy day. It's easy to make that mistake.
Paul's not happy with that. He's not happy with any defensive alignment penalty. That's just undisciplined.
It's now back to 3rd and 10. Number of penalties so far: Southern California 8 flags and 73 yards. 3rd and 10. This play's got big stuff all over it, especially for the Trojans. Oh, he almost dropped. Winky's pass away. It's caught down at the 10-yard line by Marvin Minnis.
Well, that's a danger.
Now they're waving it off. Rashard Cook leveled him, and down he went on the ball, and underneath all of that, it came out.
Yeah, that's a good call. This is a dangerous throw back across your body, across the field. Turned out all right, but Rashard does a nice job of pulling that ball out. Cook, number 8. Good defense.
Yeah, it was almost a fumble, wasn't it? He came down, had both feet down before Cook pulled it out. But it's incomplete, and the ball is at the 27. For the field goal try from Janikowski. 37-yard try. He's made one from 37. Believe me, with this guy, 37, it's chip shot.
Well, there you go. You jinxed him there, Coach.
What I meant was the leg. The distance is not a problem. It's the accuracy that's always the problem. And the score remains 10-3. So the Trojan defense hangs in, keeps fighting, keeping them in the ball game. This is the kind of game we had last year at the Coliseum.
Exactly. Yep. Turnovers, a special team score. How many times have you seen it where the offense hasn't done it, but the defense and special teams will get it done for you?
So far, the Seminoles have taken R.J. Soward out of the ball game. He has not been effective. From the 20, pitch it to Chad Morton. And Morton is knocked out of bounds by Tay Cody. Tay Cody is a sophomore from Blakely, Georgia.
Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator for the Trojans, was telling me earlier that what they need to do is get the ball to their big play people, and that is Chad Morton in the backfield and Soward and Parker on the outside. Well, they've tried to do it, just unsuccessfully.
Nope. That's a backward pass. It's an incomplete forward pass now, I guess. Earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who are the only 3 wide receivers to win 4 Super Bowl rings? Well, the answer is Mike Wilson, John Stallworth, and our colleague Lynn Swann. Here's Mike. Washington State Cougar, believe it or not. By gum, right there, way down here in Florida, lost like I am.
He's got one of those rings on there on that left hand.
USC receivers coach, and here's the other fella who's got 4.
And those are the rings, Keith. The girls have them to keep them down in case the wind blows them away.
Where do you keep them, in a mine?
Well, I keep them in the safe deposit box, and I was talking to Mike. I wanted him to bring his 4, so we have 8 different rings here, but he keeps his in the safe deposit box, and Paul Hackett has him working so late at night, he didn't have time to get to the bank, Keith.
Well, be careful, for goodness sakes. Put them away. Incidentally, I want to tell a story about you in a little while. I didn't know until last night. We're in the punt circumstance right now. Lynn Swann had 41 straight punt returns without a fair catch and without a muff when he was with the Steelers. 41 straight. Think about it. Knowles covered it finally down about the...
I just want to add, I could have brought my 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yes, you know. Why didn't you?
You know, mine's the only one that has undefeated on it, though. I just want to add that.
Bail me out, John.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 98, all the day's scores and highlights, including that marquee matchup between Nebraska and Washington.
And Nebraska get a couple of their weapons back today. D'Angelo Evans, their running back, quarterback Bobby Newcomb. They're running wild in Lincoln right now.
Yeah, we'll give you a hint. A lot of points in this one already. It's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 98.
2 minutes and 10 seconds remain to play in the first half in a 10-3 ball game. We're going to stoke the fire at halftime. See if we can get this wagon to roll a little faster. The ball is resting just about the 22-yard line for Florida State. Southern California really hasn't had all that many opportunities offensively. Florida State has, and they've been turned away on a goal line stand and a missed field goal. That was a very feeble snap back.
That was almost end over end. That snap. That was like the old Sandlot games we used to play.
Someone let the air out of the ball. Handed it over to Jeff Chaney, and he picks up about 6 yards.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to see the snap from that shot there, but there's Claiborne. He's all over the place.
How many tackles has he got, Mark? I mean, he must have 10, 12 or something.
He's all over, I'll tell you.
6 tackles? Oh, come on, you got more than that. Here's Chaney almost hitting the backfield behind the line of scrimmage, but he turns it upfield and gets something out of nothing. Seems like I've been calling his name about every 3rd play.
That snap, again, was kind of slow motion. I don't know whether it's because the ball's wet or what, but it's not of the snappy, crisp variety anyway.
Eric Thomas there is going over and look at it, see where the handle is. Third down and a long 2 for the Noles. And we're just inside a minute to go in the first half. Sweeping this way, Chaney. And that's a first down. Brought down by Ken Haslip. So Florida State grinds out another first down. Raymond Skaggs, number 20, is another one running back waiting to play. A junior out of Los Angeles. Florida State does not have a timeout. Remember.
Exactly, Keith. If they had some timeouts, they might be a threat to do something. The crowd's kind of getting a little anxious here, but they don't realize that they have no timeouts left.
Wakey wants to go big down the middle, and Dugan has the catch.
That's what they wanted to see.
Grant Pearsall now leaving the field as he was limping for a second as if he had hurt that sore knee. And he's out of there. But he seems to be walking all right now.
The one thing that helps the college team is that if you do make a first down, the clock is going to stop until they move the chain. So you can get the clock stopped. And now USC seems to take one.
The Trojans have called the timeout. They have one remaining, and the minute they saw that, the Florida State Water Brigade was on the way. They need it.
Mission Control, we have a problem.
Even in today's high-tech engines, deposits can still diminish power.
Dirty fuel system affecting performance.
Enter Valvoline SynPower, a new line of high-performance additives and cleaners. A complete fuel system treatment, formulated with component-targeting synthetic molecules that lock on and eliminate those power-robbing deposits.
Fuel and air mixture, a go.
So your engine runs cleaner and performs the way it should.
We have ignition.
Valvoline SynPower, rocket science for the road.
We will never, ever smoke up this house again. We are quitting with the patch.
Nicoderm CQ.
With the steps.
There's a lot to be said for steps.
While Nicotrol has only one step, Nicoderm CQ has 3, so you can step down your dose gradually the way doctors and pharmacists prefer.
Was this a great idea or what?
Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
You Morty Briskin?
Who's asking?
Had a hard time finding this place.
Dear Mort, you have been accepted to Harvard University and awarded a scholarship. Congratulations on all your accomplishments. You must respond, however, by May 1978.
Better late than never.
Next time, be absolutely sure. Don't just send it FedEx.
See you in September.
Well, let's see now if the Noles try to go with a little no-huddle stuff here with 22 seconds remaining. The football is down on the Southern California 32-yard line. First down, 10-3 ball game. They'd love to have one here. Here comes the reverse. Warwick has the ball. Looks like he might want to throw it.
Yep.
He does throw it, and it is completed. And needs to get out of bounds with it. It's Ron Dugans. And did they give him out of bounds? That play took a long time. Took 10 seconds. They did give him out of bounds. It's also a first down, so that stops it to move the change.
Peter Warwick was a high school quarterback, and of course Bobby Bowden knows that, and that's a pretty nice throw right there.
They used 10 seconds on the play, though, to get the ball down just inside the 20, and now Wenke spikes it, and that leaves them with 9 seconds.
Bobby says, I don't want to see any more. I'll take my chances here. Go for 3.
Janikowski is on the field. He missed one from 37 yards. Hooked it out. Made one from 37. And this is going to be 36.
He's made 22 out of 29 in his career over the last couple of years.
Just squeezed it in.
And he knows it, too. He says, that's too close.
And it leaves 5 ticks on the clock. And it's Seminoles 13 and the Trojans 3.
Probably the biggest kicker in the nation.
255-pound sophomore.
Right over the corner of the goalpost.
Total yards in this quarter, Florida State with 173. Southern California 6. That'll define it.
Yep. And I think that says a lot about the Seminole defense. because they had the ball. I think they had the ball 9 possessions. The Trojans had the ball 9 possessions in the second quarter, and they had to punt after all 3 of those. Had the ball 3 possessions, 9 plays total, and had to punt all after each possession.
Barry Parker and R.J. Soward are the deep people. I'd love to see Soward get his hands on it, but they haven't kicked him to him yet. And that's hammered over his head and way back there, back of the end zone and out beyond the field of play. And it'll be at the 20-yard line. Here's 20.
In that first half, we were talking to you about telling our audience about the big playmakers. Let's take a look at how they've been doing this afternoon. R.J. Soward, 2 touches, 12 yards a touch. No touchdowns. Very surprising. Of course, he's been substituted liberally for in this ball game. And Peter Warwick, 4 touches, 20 yards, but neither one of them has a touchdown. Now, I think if you consider what the potential is, that both defensive coaches would think they've had a win so far because neither one has scored in the ball game, Keith.
Touches meaning balls thrown to them. The balls that they have been able to catch. What does that mean?
On a reverse. Headed in a reverse, a reception, or a kickoff for a punt return.
Half is over, and at halftime our score is Florida State 13 and Southern California 3. Stay tuned for the Valvoline halftime report. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC
station. My name is Dennis Porter, and I work in the Ford Dummy Lab. They build it, we crash it. We don't care about the damage, we care about people. Our testing exceeds the government standards. Ford has more 5-star rated vehicles than any other car manufacturer. We go that extra mile to make sure that our cars are safe. I'm proud of that.
My girls were in an accident. I called Prudential.
Good afternoon, Prudential.
They told me what to do.
We will do an estimate of the damages.
It was just wonderful.
And then begin immediate repair.
I can authorize a rental vehicle for you.
I have gotten other quotes from other insurance companies.
I'm calling about the accident you reported today.
They really can't compare.
We'll do what we need to do to get this resolved as quickly as possible.
You're all set.
Thanks for calling Prudential.
I found a good company and I'm staying with them.
Rather go to a real race? During the Napa 500 Great Start Sweepstakes, you could win one of 8 trips to Daytona Speed Weekend or the grand prize, a trip to Daytona, $10,000 cash, and be the honorary starter of the Napa Auto Parts 300. So come into any Napa Auto Parts store for details. NASCAR 50th Anniversary Travel Mug, free with $20 purchase.
Coors Light presents number 1 versus number 2. Following a perfect 11-0 regular season, the 1978 Penn State Nittany Lions were ranked number 1 and faced number 2 Alabama. The Crimson Tide's bone-crushing defense would stop Penn State with this dramatic fourth-quarter goal line stand that preserved a 14-7 triumph. The loss ended Penn State's title hopes, and for the 4th time at Alabama, Bear Bryant was carried off the field with the national championship. This year's national champion will be crowned in the title game of the Bowl Championship Series.
When you're the beer man, playing in pain comes with the territory. But a few nagging injuries won't stop me from delivering cold Coors Light.
Hey, beer man.
Well, 95 is what the doctor called pop-top finger. But I kept cracking open that Rocky Mountain refreshment. 96 was a wicked case of beer elbow. But the fans wanted a frost-brewed beer, and they got it. Knock the beer man out of the game? Well, that would take something really serious. Coors Light? Yeah, you want it. Coors Light!
You're watching ABC.
Feeling a little lost in the shuffle at your bank? With new rules, new fees, and unfamiliar faces, you're just part of the masses. Maybe it's time to make a move. And here's a smart step. SunTrust, a bank with over 100 years of building relationships in Florida, where you get one-on-one attention from local decision makers, people that make it happen.
And to help, SunTrust is waiving monthly service fees on package accounts until the year 2000.
So make the easy switch. Call SunTrust.
News Channel 27 is ABC.
The scoring summary at halftime with Florida State leading 13-3. Janikowski a 37-yard field goal for a 3-0 lead first quarter. Then a 3-3 tie after Adam Abrams' career-long 49-yard field goal. And then Jeff Chaney, a 7-yard touchdown run with 2 big blocks. One of them right here coming from number 31, his fullback, that frees him to get into the end zone. And then Janikowski hits a 36-yard field goal after missing a 37-yarder. And that's where we are at the break. 13-3, Florida State leading. Now, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Valvoline, halftime 98. Brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
And before we get you to the scores and highlights of college football, Mark McGuire has done it again. Number 67, regaining the lead. Sammy Sosa still at number 66. He is 1 for 2 today. McGuire hit his home run against Dustin Hermanson of the Montreal Expos. We'll keep you up to date if that changes. Right now, let's get to the college football. Washington and Nebraska. A big buildup for this game. And Brock Heward, a great quarterback, but boy, does he struggle against Nebraska. Knocked out of the game last year in this one. Wiltz just returns it down to the 22-yard line on the interception, and Jim Lambright is like, boy, this could be a long day. The running was good for Nebraska.
Well, D'Angelo Evans, his first game back in almost 2 years, shows no rust in this ball game so far. 8 carries, 116 yards, 3 touchdowns for D'Angelo Evans. Make that 9 carries, 125 yards, D'Angelo Evans, 261 yards rushing for Nebraska in the first half alone.
If you blink, he's going to add more yardage onto it. Northeast Louisiana against Kansas State. Michael Bishop, tremendous quarterback there and great leadership. 33 yards over the top to Aaron Lockett as they jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Bishop, how about 441 yards in this game?
Unbelievable. 48-7. Kansas State coming into the ball game, leading the nation in scoring offense and scoring defense, not hurting their case right now.
Florida coming off the loss to Tennessee. How would they respond against Kentucky? This one was nip and tuck. Florida, though, right now is blowing this wide open, although Tim Couch is having a decent day.
You know, Kentucky's going to have to score just about every time they have the ball to stay up with Florida. Florida's defense still pretty good, putting pressure on Tim Couch.
Some of you are seeing the game between USC and Florida State. And Florida State, well, you wonder which team is going to show up on this one. Travis Minor, the running back, is stopped by Chris Claiborne here. This was on a 4th down. They come up empty, but then Jeff Chaney would bust one as he spots the hole and goes through it right there.
Well, USC played good defense against Florida State last year. They're playing tough against them this year. 13-3, a very low-scoring defensive game right now in Tallahassee.
Duke, now they're coming off that loss to Florida State as Florida State pounded them because of the loss to NC State. They have to face Virginia, and Anthony Poindexter had another great day.
You don't hear too much about free safeties very often, but Anthony Poindexter, one of the best defensive players in all of college football, had a big game last week, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery today.
Duke turned it over 8 times there. In this one between Stanford and Oregon, 35-14. Achilles Smith with 3 touchdown passes, and you love this quarterback.
Well, he is one of about 5 other quarterbacks. We talked about quarterbacks earlier in the day. He's one of about 5 that are in that second level, could go anywhere in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round of the draft. He is an outstanding quarterback. Oregon, the best offense in the Pac-10 right now.
I guess so. 35 points, still about 2 minutes to go in that half. Purdue and Notre Dame. The Boilermakers won this game last year, and right now they have a 6-point lead. And I know you have seen both sides of the Irish this year.
Well, they look good at times. They're moving the football, but they can't figure out a way to stop this Purdue offense. Joe Tiller's offense still very difficult to defend. Drew Brees distributing the ball very well for Purdue.
Yeah, his first 7 passes went to 7 different players. All right, staying in the Big Ten, Northwestern against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin just rolled behind their big man, Ron Dane. 46 yards on this touchdown run. He would go over 100 yards one more time.
Well, the defense outstanding all year for Wisconsin. Ron Dane doing the bulk of the work on offense, but really the Wisconsin defense has been the story for them this year. They came into the game the top-rated defense in the country.
38-7 is the final there. Pitt goes to Virginia Tech. Now, Pitt played Penn State very tight, but Virginia Tech caused the turnovers and the sacks.
Last 3 games, Virginia Tech has forced 13 turnovers. They also had 8 sacks in this ball game. That's a good way to take pressure off a new quarterback. Al Clark, the starting quarterback for Virginia Tech, out of this ball game with a sprained foot.
Keon Carpenter with 3 interceptions. West Virginia blows out Tulsa, and you look to Amos Zaraway. 23 carries, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. In Boston College, this is a team that has yet to lose this year, but Louisville clobbers them 52-28 as we take a look at that. Mike Cloud, 27-yard touchdown run and 124 yards on the ground. All right, stick around. We will continue with more of Valvoline Halftime 98 right here on ABC's College Football.
Head out on the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way. Oh yeah, here we go, gonna make it. Born to be wild, born to be wild.
Select road. Validating tires.
What kind of road can you drive on with BF Goodrich tires?
Approved. Enjoy.
Any road you choose. BF Goodrich tires. Take control.
Hi, I'm Davis Gaines, and I've got a secret. It's nestled among rolling hills and towering pines, where Gothic archways for nearly a century and a half have welcomed young minds. It's where the spirit of service is measured against the spirit of history's heroes. And graduates go on to become governors, astronauts, and even the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.